Hello everyone, Andy Wolverton here from Journeys in Darkness and Light with my new releases in film noir for September. And let me tell you right off the bat, get your wallets ready. We've got a lot to talk about. First up, on September 1st, we have a double feature, but I think only one of these films really qualifies as film noir, yet they're both excellent. We have Australia's Umbrella Entertainment giving us a pair of boxing pictures on a single Blu-ray Region B disc. Requiem for a Heavyweight from 1962 and The Harder They Fall from 1956, Humphrey Bogart's last picture. Requiem is more of a drama, but a terrific drama written by Rod Serling. This 1962 film is actually a remake of the 1956 episode of Playhouse 90, the famous television anthology show. In this theatrical version, Anthony Quinn plays Louis Mountain Rivera, who finds himself soundly defeated by another fighter who is actually Cassius Clay, who would, of course, rename himself Muhammad Ali. Rivera's manager, played by Jackie Gleason, convinces him to give up boxing and become a professional wrestler, which Rivera considers humiliating. It's a tremendous story with great performances by Quinn, Gleason, and Mickey Rooney. The Harder They Fall basically follows a similar theme: what to do when a fighter is washed up. Bogart plays Eddie Willis, a down-and-out newspaper reporter who reluctantly agrees to work for a corrupt fight-fixing promoter named Nick Benko, played by Rod Steiger. Benko is hyping his new fighter, Toro Moreno, played by Mike Lane, a beast of a fighter with no real talent. Benko tells his fighter that he can get him a shot at the title, and Toro isn't savvy enough to know that this is all a sham, that his manager has been fixing all of his fights. Of course, Eddie realizes this almost immediately and struggles whether he should tell Toro the truth or remain silent and keep his job. Deception, corruption, and setting the story in the boxing world make this a good film noir, but it always saddens me to watch Bogart's final performance. It's astonishing that neither of these films has ever been released on a North American Blu-ray, although The Harder They Fall has been available on a Blu-ray in France for a few years. I'm going to wait for the Region A release, which seems to be pretty inevitable for both of these films, hoping they will contain some extras, because it looks like this disc won't have any. On September the 7th, we have A Life at Stake from 1954, directed by Paul Guilfoyle. This comes to us from Film Detective. Angela Lansbury as a femme fatale? Murder, She Wrote, indeed. Keith Andes plays Edward, an architect who falls for his business partner's wife, Doris, played by Lansbury. Doris proposes what seems to be a lucrative building project, but when Doris and her husband Augustus insist Edward take out an enormous life insurance policy, Edward gets suspicious. And hey, what about the mysterious disappearance of the husband's former business partner? This release comes from a new 4K restoration from Archival Elements and contains an audio commentary from film noir scholar and critic Jason Ney, a featurette called Hollywood Hitchhikers Inside the Filmmakers, and an illustrated booklet with an essay also by Jason Ney. I haven't seen this one, but I'm eager to check it out. On September 13th, many critics consider Mr. Klein from 1976 to be director Joseph Losey's best film and Alain Delon's finest performance, yet the film tanked on its initial release. Delon plays Robert Klein, an art dealer in 1942 Paris. In desperation and hoping to have enough money to escape Nazi oppression, several French Jews sell their art to Klein, who gives them only a fraction of the art's value. When a Jewish newspaper is delivered to his home, Klein reads that a man named Robert Klein, living in Paris, is a Jew being sought by the police. Is this an odd coincidence, or is Klein being targeted by someone? Klein's investigations turn into a labyrinthine world worthy of Kafka. Now, when I say the movie tanked upon its release, let me give you the numbers. Made for the equivalent of $3.5 million, the film earned less than $200,000. Yet the film won several César Awards and was praised by most critics. This release is taken from a new 4K restoration and includes an introduction by film director, historian, and critic Jean-Baptiste Thoré, a featurette called Mr. Klein Revisited with critic Michel Simon, and an interview with editor Henri Leno. This is a Region B release from Studio Canal. Next, on September 14th, we have a reissue of Mona Lisa from 1986. Now, no doubt many of you already know this terrific film, the story of a petty crook named George, played by Bob Hoskins, who gets released from prison and goes to work for his old employer, crime boss Denny Morwell, played by Michael Caine. Morwell's job for George? To chauffeur a black hooker named Simone, played by Kathy Tyson. Now, this film has been on Blu-ray before, but I mention it because it's getting a Blu-ray upgrade from Criterion. This release does add a new conversation with director Neil Jordan and actor Kathy Tyson, moderated by critic Ryan Gilbey. Also, on the same date, September 14th, we have Rafiki and Paris. This comes from Kino Lorber. Now, the original Rafiki from 1955 is a milestone of French cinema and film noir, but it created several imitators, and apparently none of them are very good. There's Riff Raff Girls, Rafiki in Tokyo, two different versions of Rafiki in Amsterdam. Must have been a lot going on in Amsterdam. But here we have Rafiki in Paris, or the American title, The Upper Hand, which features Jean Gabin and Gert Frobe as gold smugglers. I guess after getting sucked out of that airplane in Goldfinger, Frobe just couldn't stay away from the gold. They recruit a man named Mike, played by Claudio Brook, to help them with a smuggling operation, unaware that he's an American undercover agent. The film also stars George Raft in one of his final roles. I don't really expect much from this, but I always enjoy watching Jean Gabin, so I might pick it up on sale. The disc includes a new audio commentary by filmmaker and historian Daniel Kramer and cinematographer Aaron Hollander. Now, on September 20th, we've got a big box set coming from Indicator. This is the Columbia Noir number 4 box set, which features 6 films. This is a Region B set. I previewed this one in a video about a month ago, so I'm going to link to that video in the notes. But here's a very quick rundown of the 6 films in this set. First of all, we have Walk a Crooked Mile from 1948, a Red Scare noir starring Dennis O'Keefe and Raymond Burr. Walk East on Beacon from 1952, more Cold War noir, more communists, more spies, starring George Murphy. Pushover from 1954 with Fred McMurray as a straight-laced cop falling for Kim Novak, the girlfriend of a notorious criminal. The film also co-stars Dorothy Malone. A Bullet is Waiting, also from 1954. Stephen McNally plays a sheriff who lets prisoner Rory Calhoun slip away from him after they're both involved in a plane crash. This one is directed by John Farrow. Chicago Syndicate from 1955, more from Dennis O'Keefe, who plays an accountant recruited by the authorities to infiltrate the mob run by Paul Stewart. And closing out the set, The Brothers Rico from 1957, directed by Phil Carlson, starring Richard Conte as Eddie Rico, one of 3 brothers with mob connections who's trying to live his own life. Again, this barely scratches the surface of these films, so please check out my video on this box set for all the details. And remember, this is a Region B set. On September 21st, if you've never seen it, you must see Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid from 1982, a unique Steve Martin comedy filmed in black and white, incorporating clips from famous film noir movies, featuring appearances by Humphrey Bogart, Alan Ladd, Burt Lancaster, Fred MacMurray, Barbara Stanwyck, Ava Gardner, and many more. Rachel Ward plays Juliet, a woman who hires Private Eye Rigby Reardon, played by Steve Martin, to investigate the death of Juliet's father, a famous cheesemaker whom Juliet thinks was murdered for his cheese recipes. Of course. The story is completely nuts, but it allows director Carl Reiner to assemble characters from classic film noir titles into the story. It's fun as well as inventive. I always enjoy this, and I hope that you will too. The film has been released on Blu-ray before, back in 2017 from Universal, but that disc had no special features. This one has a new audio commentary by filmmaker Alan Arkush and film historian filmmaker Daniel Kramer. This Kino Lorber release also includes 3 TV spots, 4 radio spots, a newly restored theatrical trailer, and a Buttometer teaser trailer. You're going to buy it just to find out what the Buttometer is, right? You can actually see the Buttometer trailer on YouTube. I will put a link in there for you. On September the 21st, we also have the first of 2 releases from Warner Archive. First, The Window from 1949, directed by Ted Tetzlaff. Little Tommy Woodry, played by Bobby Driscoll, has a problem. He likes telling stories, tall tales, lies. Not just any lies, grand scale lies. Tommy is an only child, and as such he falls prey to one particular condition that often faces children with no siblings, making up stories to get attention. But when Tommy can't get anyone to believe that he's witnessed a murder in the neighborhood, he's got a big problem. Ted Tetzlaff, a former cinematographer, creates an enormous sense of claustrophobia in this film, made even more so by having a child as the protagonist. The film also stars Arthur Kennedy and Barbara Hale as Tommy's parents, as well as Ruth Roman and one of my favorite noir character actors, Paul Stewart. The picture is based on a Cornell Woolrich short story called The Boy Who Cried Murder. This is a terrific movie and something of a surprise for a Blu-ray appearance, but I'm delighted that Warner Archive chose to upgrade this one. No word on extras, but I don't care if there aren't any. This is a solid purchase. I reviewed this one for Noirvember back in 2019, and if you'd like to learn more about the film, I will link to that review in the notes. Also, from Warner Archive, we have Straight Time from 1978 by Ulu Grossbard. Dustin Hoffman plays Max Dimbo, a career criminal determined to go straight after being released from prison. But this is noir, or neo-noir if you prefer. Teresa Russell is great as the woman Max meets from the employment office, and M. Emmett Walsh is terrific as Max's abusive parole officer. This is one of Dustin Hoffman's greatest performances, and not nearly enough people have seen it, so do pick this one up. You will not be sorry. No word on extras. Also, on September 21st, here's another one that doesn't get enough attention. Breakdown from 1997, directed by Jonathan Mostow. Jeff and Amy Taylor, played by Kurt Russell and Kathleen Quinlan, are on a cross-country trip in their Jeep when they have a breakdown. Not a marital breakdown, but a Jeep breakdown. Amy accepts a ride from a friendly truck driver, played by J.T. Walsh, who promises to take her to the nearest phone at the local diner where she can call a garage. Meanwhile, Jeff discovers the Jeep has been tampered with. When he finally makes it over to the diner, Amy's not there. In fact, no one at the diner remembers seeing her at all. And we're off. Hats off to Paramount Pictures for releasing this all but forgotten noir thriller, struck from a new 4K remaster featuring all kinds of new special features, including an audio commentary by director Jonathan Mostow and Kurt Russell, a featurette called Filmmaker Focus with Mosto, an interview with Kathleen Quinlan, an interview with co-producer Martha De Laurentiis, and the film's alternate opening with and without an audio commentary by Mosto. There's also an isolated musical score by Basil Polidoris, theatrical trailers, and a fold-out of the movie's theatrical poster. I'm definitely picking this one up. And moving on to September 28th, we have Illustrious Corpses, or in the Italian, Cadavre Eccellente. This comes to us from Kino Lorber. The title comes from an expression for politicians or law enforcement planning to go up against the mafia. They will soon be excellent corpses. It also refers to a game called cadavre exquis, which I probably mispronounced, which I'll let you Google on your own. And I will put that in the notes as well. What's important is that in Palermo, several judges and important lawyers are being murdered, and Inspector Rogas, played by Lino Ventura, tries to solve the case. But as soon as Rogas starts working, 2 more judges are killed. This becomes a huge mystery with several layers. Fernando Rey and Max von Sydow have supporting roles. Other than trailers, we only have one substantial extra, a new audio commentary from filmmaker Alex Cox, which should be very interesting. Okay, that is a grand total of 17 films. If you have any money left in September after that, I guess you could buy groceries or something. Or stock up now while we're still in August. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you're planning to pick up. And in the meantime, everybody take care. And I'll talk to you soon.